Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. You know this is going to be a good one because first off, Shine is playing and we are on Death Valley. Remember this map? We have the assimilators that can be killed to cut off this route, and this route is completely by itself on this side of the map. More expansions down here, but you have to mine the minerals to get through. So yeah, Death Valley is our most crazy map right now. And, yeah, we don't get many games on it. I feel like when we do, Shine is oftentimes involved. He's not afraid of playing crazy maps since he is probably the most strategic-minded player that we have at the pro scene. His opponent here is going to be aaaa. That looks like it is just a spammed-out ID, but actually I've seen this guy a lot of times. He's a strong player, 2,500 plus MMR, and I think that's actually just his ID. Unless I'm mistaken and this is someone's alt account, but I'm pretty sure not. Because again, I've definitely seen him around. But yeah, this should be fun just because it's Death Valley. Such a different map. Now this is like a 6 racks or a 7 racks that he's going for. So he's looking to bust an expansion immediately with this. And this will be, the Marines are going to be out so quick, it's going to not even make sense. Shine, I don't know, like, or you might remember back to ASL where this map was in the pool. Didn't Sulky do a macro build that was like a 4 pool? Where he just ran up and killed the assimilators and just like dominated the game. Shine doesn't look like he has a strat like that. He is going to go for hatchery first, so that's going to line up exactly with what aaaa wants. His depot finishing just on time, so he's going to be able to make these Marines. And he might wait for 3, is my guess. 2 can be overwhelmed by drones pretty quickly. 3 is where you start to just kill drones so insanely fast that it's really hard for Zerg to do much. Now, a second SCV is being sent, probably a good idea in case you need to get a bunker up. You know, if you only have 1 SCV, that's a huge fail point where, a failure point where your opponent can just kind of pick it off. Now, he's, oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, so he's showing the scout at a more regular time. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure he should move at 3. And yeah, he's going to move now. The third one is about to pop out. All right. This makes sense. The spawning pool on the way, well, looking at this, yeah, these drones are not going to be able to stop it. 3 Marines are going to be just a bit too much here. And as you can see, as the drones come up and see what's going on with the bunker timing and the 3 Marines, like, you just kind of have to turn around. Now, he's actually going to dive with this. And, in fact, this gets canceled because there's no real way to save it. That's actually a pretty good surround. That is a pretty darn good surround right there. I don't know that he's actually done enough. Well, he canceled the hatchery. And he gets like 3 drones or something. But don't forget, this was like a 6 or a 7 rack. So like that is a lot of sacrificed economy there. Now he is double repairing the SCVs here. Hold position now in the wall. And I don't know what type of game this turns into as Shine is going 1 hatch layer. This is very weird looking indeed. Okay, he's going to try to get in there and get a little scout off. I think he will be able to identify what's going on. I'm not sure that he actually saw the layer there. It seems like he got zoned out pretty hard. Creep colony on the way, so going to prevent the Marines from just walking in and ruining him. He doesn't want to make too many lings. And this might actually end up being a 1-hatch Spire. I've seen a little bit of that against Cheese lately, and it actually can fare pretty well. You would be surprised. Because some of these proxy racks builds, like, you don't have anything behind it, really. Like, he's building his economy up, but look, he's only in 15 workers. That is not particularly good. So there's the sunk, and he's going to go ahead and work on the assimilator. So Shine, well, the thing is, you can kill 1 assimilator, and it stops almost no Zerg units from getting through. As far as Terran goes, only Bio and SCVs can get through once 1 assimilator is done. But, like, what are the odds of needing a tank through here or even going vultures at this point? Very, very low, right? Starts mining down here a little bit and hops a drone for his expansion. Yeah, he can't really get in there, to be honest. It's not going to happen. This does make this a little bit skinnier, by the way. You might wonder why this works like this. The assimilator is actually smaller than the geyser, if that makes sense. right? So, like, there's a path, but the actual geyser takes up more room than you think. It's something like that. And then this will go it, and, like, the only thing that can get between the two Vespene geysers placed like this is a ghost. Did you know that? The ghost is smaller than a Zergling? A lot of things in StarCraft are based off of the actual graphical size as opposed to programming. If like the actual size of the dimensions, there's like all sorts of funny building locking mechanisms. Like, for instance, similar to this, if you put a depot and academy next to each other, only a ghost can get through. It's weird the things that a ghost can randomly do. One of the most useless units in the game. But occasionally useful, occasionally. All right, so 3 mutas on the way. This is enough bio that you are not going to kill it with 3 mutas. I guess he can start to micro against it a little bit. I wonder if Shine just wants this closed. I think he probably does. That's my best guess, is he just wants to close this off. Okay, so he shows the mutas. There's no eBay yet. So you got to put some pressure on right now and make sure the mutas stay over here. Because if the mutas flew over here, that would be annoying. I think he would technically not die, but he would definitely take a lot of damage. Ooh, good pickoff on the Firebat. Definitely an important unit here. Ooh. Sorry, I'm slippery fingers. So the medic actually got targeted by the sunk in there. That was really, really nice to help get a kill. Range is on the way, and as range finishes up, the Marines will do a lot better against the mutas. But as the mutas grow in size, like, yeah, it's one hatch, so it takes a long time. But think about it. A full group of mutas against one base Terran is, like, super, super deadly. Yeah, and he's going to start clearing this, right? He's got an open path. He's got his hatchery up. And the bio's all on this side. So, like, the best you can do once this is dead is either drop this bio somewhere, not a great play, or open up your own path and walk all the way around the map. And then Shine just plays the left side of the map normally. Whereas, to be fair, maybe I'll call him can expand to these expansions, right? He's got this one. You probably won't end up taking this one, but you could, theoretically. And then there is another one right here, if you recall. So, yeah, definitely some nice bases on that side, which would be partially free. The thing is, Zerg is very good at moving around the map. Very, very mobile. So, not totally free there. Now, factory on the way. He does have some missile turrets up over here. Oh, these are... Yeah, those were too far out. That was actually a little bit sloppy, to be honest. Going after the eBay, but he's brought the bio home, so he's going to be able to push these mutas out without any more damage, I think. Oh, is he just going to counterattack and force the mutas to come play? Yeah, that's not a bad way to do it. You know, when you threaten attacks on Zerg, if they don't have enough at home, they have to bring the mutas to fight too, right? And so this is like actually how you control mutalisk movement quite oftentimes. Okay, so I'm wondering, I think here you just go one port vessel. I'm pretty sure that that's like the play, because your opponent is building up his mutalisk count and you need something anti-muta, and Valkyries are too mineral intensive because like you just don't have a lot of production. And oh my god, this is so cute. You don't have a lot of production or anything like that, right? Oh, not a bad idea. Tries to stim out a Firebat for some damage. Okay, he is going for a missile turret at the natural there, adding an additional barracks over here so that he can actually keep his production up. And there's the starport. So it definitely does look like he's going to go towards irradiate. I do feel like Shine is ahead right now by a little bit. Well, maybe a little bit more than a little bit right now. He doesn't have like a very good army yet, that's for sure. And +1 is going to finish up. I think aaaa is going to be able to get some bases up and kind of stabilize, but it's going to be a little bit slow. I think that Shine can kind of control the flow of the game with a group of mutas and probably take another base and get into Hive tech. That would be kind of my guess as to what you would want to do here. But there is another way, actually, and actually I think Shine is choosing that way. So see how he's getting Carapace and he's getting Lurker upgrade and no Hive, right? We have no Queen's Nest. So this is actually like a big tell as to what's going to happen. If you ever see one evolution chamber, Hydralisk Den, and no morphing layer or a Hive, then that means it's going to be like a mass Lurker lane. And that that can be a good strategy to kind of just overwhelm. While in theory, it can be dealt with by Terran with good kiting and the right unit composition and all that, sometimes you get into a position like this where your opponent is just going to have a smaller amount of units than what you were thinking about. And yeah, that makes it like just very difficult to stop. So it looks to me like that's what the plan is here from Shine, who, by the way, did start to work on those assimilators a little bit. If he could kill off the assimilars, he would dominate this side of the map more than most likely. So slowing down that command center as well, really, really annoying for Carapace still on the way here. Zergling speed. Lots of lings, lots of lurkers being morphed. There they are. If he can get a row of lurkers here, I think the game turns real weird at that point. Because that's like, you're not ever going to make it down there. And you might have to start thinking about like siege tanks or something. But then I'm sure he'll get defilers by then. Shine is doing such a good job of delaying this base, by the way. Shine still pretty low on drones. He's trying to keep active with these mutalisks and kind of keep busy. Maybe 4A is a better ID. Now, yeah, see, this is like, you can't really break down here unless you have siege tanks, which it's really hard to go siege tank plus the vessel. Oh my god, still not made. So painful. So this seems kind of invincible. And the problem is, once defilers get down here, how are you going to end up holding? You know? Like, he's going to be able to swarm push in, most likely. You could end up going, like, mines and tanks. That could be a way you put enough up here that you just make it really gross for Zerg to go up. Maybe a bunker with fire bats, that type of thing. But it's something that can definitely get very messy. Second evolution chamber coming up. Be interesting to see if he wants ranged attack or melee attack out of that one. Because that's going to tell us all about how Shine's late game is going to look. Does he want to go for a Hydra Lurker defiler composition, or does he want to eventually go into Ultralisks here? So we shall see as he starts that upgrade. Pretty good missile turret setup. Hunting with Scourge right now. He's put the Scourge below the mutas. Well, not that you can choose that, but that's what you do, is you hide them below. They're never on top, really. Okay, a couple of Radiates go down. I mean, 2 Irradiates to deal with 3 mutas and 2 Scourge. Not a huge fan, but it's okay. You can't fault him too hard on that. Now, has his natural expansion up. He's only on 33 SCVs, which, by the way, that's about where you should be, around like 5 minutes, 30 seconds. So that shows you kind of the weird game that we're in, because we're 13 minutes in. So, yeah, Defiler Mound coming up, and there's the melee. So he is going to go into Ling Ultra and probably Defilers as well into the late game. That's the plan. Siege Tank is out. Oh, God, you can't. Oh, dude. That is incredibly painful. That is incredibly painful. And you can see that Shine is just like, yeah, try to come down. I'll just run up. And, you know, you need multiple siege tanks here, really, to break out, and probably siege mode. So he does have siege mode. Losing that first one is brutal. I would be very upset. Okay, he irradiated his siege tank. He irradiated his siege tank. I wonder if he was going for defense matrix. Sometimes you just fat finger stuff, right? Like, it happens. That was obviously not what he wanted to do. Although, I have irradiated a siege tank before. If lings are surrounding it and you irradiate and defense matrix, it's hilarious. They all just explode. Anyways, generally not worth the energy there. Very, very rare situation. So he's lost 2 siege tanks now. Still trying to push down. Little bio group out here. Only 1 vessel so far. Oh, dude. Shine is just crushing some face. I really want to see 4A get something done here. But, well, the thing is, it's still a while before Shine is going to be able to just walk out and kill him, I think. Like, this is a very tricky place to get up. Thing is, if he had 3 siege tanks right now, if he had been more careful with those, they're, like, more important than the vessels in a way because of the amount of Lurker. You know, that's, yeah, that makes it a little bit tough. Now, I don't know why he's poking up here. You can't get through here. He thinks you can. I don't know how to explain that. He just stimmed as if he could get through there. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Anyways, yeah, you can't. Okay, so he irradiates the defiler. Very important to get that, specifically that defiler. And he gets another Dark Storm, so you have to pull back. Okay, this is actually a very good move to move some of the bio out onto the map. That's, like, really important right now because he needs to intercept more defilers that might be trying to come down. In the meantime, Shine has 4 bases. So, like, Shine is really getting himself into a position where he should be able to take this game. All right, rotating the army back. I think it's okay to just leave a unit in there or whatever, just as kind of like a scout/deterrent in case he drops something on that side, that type of thing. But yeah, here we go. And okay, good targeting there on the Scourge. The Lurker's coming up for a flank. Woo! Actually, really good control there from 4A. He is doing about as well as you could with that bio group. So really, really nice. Picking off what he can. Oh, ranged attack now on the way. That's interesting as well. I'm surprised he didn't go +2 melee. Huh. Maybe a switch into a Lurker Hydra? Yeah, I don't know how to explain that one. It seems like Shine changed his mind here. Oh, he started +2 melee and then started the carapace. Yeah, you always want to go +3 carapace as quickly as possible. Okay, so he does have a couple siege tanks here. Okay, good plague onto the vessels. Maybe start reducing those at some point. Nice with the tanks. Defiler walking into range there. Very useful. The macro of Shine is looking kind of crazy, honestly. All right, he is finally getting... oh, jeez. Oh, boy. That's annoying. 4 vessels go down. But he is getting the Hydralisk range attack. So his plan was Ultra, and his plan has changed into Hydra Lurker, which I actually think is better in this type of game anyways. Like, it just kind of makes you invincible. It's against Hydra Lurker, like, it makes a very prolonged game in which I think Shine is going to do pretty well in. So, yeah, he comes down once again with another Dark Storm push. 4A going to run back there a little bit. Okay, some good irradiates. Pulls back. Yeah, pulls back pretty well. I'd love to see this force go out and kind of look for what's around. The siege tanks are really well placed, I have to say. These are very good at kind of like telling Shine not to come around. Does get a cancel on this hatchery. Really, really important. This is a mineral-only base, so it's not as important. But look, he's making mass hatch there, so obviously you don't want him to have that. The Hydra's starting to come down, and they already have that +2 carapace with +1 attack still on the way. And yeah, we have +3 weapons coming, but no +2 armor here for Terran. So he is getting out upgraded a little bit as well. Yeah, this is becoming very, very rough. You know, he's got 3 bases. He's got double starport. He's getting a second factory. I do like the second factory in the armory. I think that's the right way to probably play this. But the game is just going to be really difficult. Like, I hope that 4A can actually come back and make this game close. Because, like, right now, obviously, he's pretty far behind. But it's not a completely hopeless game because he does have 3 bases with 3 gases. So he has, like, a lot of income to do things with here. And you can get pretty cost efficient even against a comp like this. You know, you get enough siege tanks out and that definitely can work. But the thing that, for me personally, like, I have a really hard time playing against a Hydra Lurker Defiler style. I think everyone kind of does because it's just so hard to kill anything. And the plagues start coming down and the Hydras don't care about your upgrades anymore and one-shot everything. And it's just like, man, it's hard. And, like, you can go for siege tanks and people are like, oh, well, siege tanks counter it. But it's so hard to attack with siege tanks. It's so incredibly hard in this matchup. Zerg is just so mobile. So I'm kind of excited to see how he plays it. Like, right now, he's just kind of using them a little bit defensively. He did make a couple drops, which is, I think that's a really good idea. You know, this is probably the least mobile of all Zerg compositions. You know, so dropships should, in theory, work the best against this type of composition. Oh, just targeting these siege tanks down, though, is so painful. He is making 2 at a time. But realistically, I feel like I'd want, you know, I want to see 4A with like 10 siege tanks to really hold everything. So backing up here once again. He does get the drop off over here, and he's going to kill this hatchery. The Darkstorm, though, with Lurkers walking forward. Yeah, 4A brought his SCVs to fight, but with the Darkstorm, that is obviously not going to work. He has one SCV in there that's drawing a lot of fire, but eventually the Lurkers will kill it. The siege tanks coming out can kind of push that back. Can he get another base with this? Shine is moving into position for the next likely drop location. So Shine should be able to just shut this down as well. Oh, man. Okay, that's got to be game. That has to be game. Well, kind of a cool one overall from Shine. I like the idea, you know, getting these sunks down, targeting this down right away, and getting this one as soon as he could. And then just playing a macro game. Like, he didn't feel like he had to go all in from one base. He actually turned the one base game into a macro game, which I've actually seen a few pro Zergs do lately when they lose their hatchery. And it's surprisingly okay, because one base Zerg is like the weakest thing you can really think of. But these players are doing it through the cost efficiency of mutalisks and, you know, just kind of like building their economy a little bit quicker while keeping their opponent down. So I've definitely enjoyed seeing kind of the evolution of Zergs that have been bunker rushed. But that's actually kind of scary too. If Zergs are starting to figure out how, like, yeah, I lost my hatchery to a bunker rush, but then I just played a macro game and won, it's like, wait a minute. Isn't that supposed to be the free win for Terran? Like a 4-pull against Command Center first, right? Isn't that supposed to be something where you just win the game straight up? But Zergs are starting to learn how to deal. So you can see Shine is just getting ready to finish him off. He's got just like endless Ling Hydra at this point. Huge supply, up 50% supply right now. Another Darkstorm probably going to come in. Maybe even a Plague on this huge cloud of vessels. Really good siege tank placement and all. So like he might technically survive here. Yeah. That's the thing. The siege tank's on the high ground. Pretty good at grinding units down. But he's not really gaining any position. It looks like he's thinking about expanding up here, but Shine has so much money, he's actually already getting transportation, you know, drop upgrades for overlords. So he's going to be able to drop over there and just destroy things. Like, you're not going to be able to move your units up quickly enough, I think, here as 4A. Continuing to rally out these siege tanks. Bringing a forward group to try to intercept some of this. You know, I think the reason, actually, like, I keep looking at the minimap and it looks unwinnable, but like, I actually am starting to realize, because I haven't played this map a whole lot or even commentated a whole lot, but he actually has kept Shine on 3 gas for the whole game. So actually it makes sense to not leave at this point. Because right around now, well, this gas got taken really late because of the weird early game. But it's around 23 minutes that they run out of gas. And he denied this base several times. Now Shine's taken both these. He hasn't started the gas yet, but he will. But you can see it reflecting the compositions. Shine is running out of gas. Yes, he has 800 in the bank right now. I recognize that because he's making a lot of Ling Hydra. But that's probably part of his plan is like, yeah, I'm getting close to running out of gas. Let's see what we can do with some of these more mineral-intensive units. Right? So it kind of makes sense that 4A would not give up at this point yet. Little drop over here trying to deny a gas. Looks like the unit's going to come out. Big drop from Shine to maybe deny this base. This one has been mined out. And 4A is going to GG. Like, once you see these 2 bases up, that's going to refill all the gas that Shine really needs to continue forward. But yeah, I always forget that this is a mineral base. You know, I'm kind of sad Death Valley's going to be leaving us. Really interesting games. Each one that I've had the opportunity to cast or play here have been very interesting strategies. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this crazy map and watching Shine in his strategic mastery. We'll see you next time.